You are listening to the Very Thoughtful Life Coaching Podcast with the mindset coach, Kanisha Berry. You will be empowered, uplifted, and encouraged. Now, here's your host, Kanisha.
Hello, Very Thoughtfuls. Proverbs 22:6 tells us, train up a child in the way he should go, or when he is old, he will not depart from it. Growing up as a little girl in the church and throughout my life, I would hear different people teach that scripture to mean that we should bring our children to church and train them into going to church. And perhaps many ministers meant more, train them in the Christian way. But here's the thing. Training means showing up more than just on Sunday. And as an adult, what I understand about this scripture now that I didn't as a young person was that we are being trained every day. And the scripture tells us when you train him in the way that he should go, when he gets older, he will not depart from it. What happens when a child is trained in the way they shouldn't go? When they get older, they still will not depart from it. So I want to ask you, how have you been trained? And how are you training your children if you have them? So when we create an environment in our homes where there's a lot of arguing, cursing, fussing, putting our children down, using language towards them, perhaps there are acts being done to them that are unbearable, we are training that child. So then when they become an adult, they become older, and people say, why do you act this way? Particularly during those teenage years where we like to talk about our children being rebellious when they're teenagers. They're not being rebellious. They are acting out their training. They now have the bodies and the age that can move in a level of freedom that maybe they couldn't when they was younger. And now that they have this freedom, the training that you have given them, that you prepared them in, the way you talk becomes the way they talk. The way you treated them becomes the way they either treat others or allow others to treat them. So again, I ask you, how are you training your child? And how are you trained? Are there areas in your life that you was trained in certain ways where it is detrimental to you now? That is affecting the way you are in relationship, how you handle people, how you talk to people, how you allow people to talk to you. Do you see yourself as a victim in every situation because in your training, you was around people who didn't take responsibility for their own life? It was always someone else's fault. It's the government, it's the man, it's your boss. It's everyone's problem or responsibility but yours. What was your training? Did you see people spend money that they didn't have, they couldn't afford? Or were you around an environment where adult people didn't really seek work, job, or employment? Or maybe they work and they was workaholics. They did everything to the extreme where they didn't have time for you. How were you trained? See, it is in this training that we have to begin to learn that there are some areas in our life that we must be untrained. We must unlearn. That's the new kind of language and lingo. People are saying that the new learning is to unlearn what we used to know or consider normal. Because your training will make you think what happened to you was normal, or the way that you was brought up, or the way you was raised, or your ideas about love, marriage, relationships, finances, health. You may think that's normal. Eating unhealthy food every day, if you was trained in that way, you may think that eating vegetables are a bad idea. But what I want you to know is one thing about training is that you can always be retrained. You could always choose a different route. You can always get a new trainer. Perhaps your parents did their best. In the community you was in, they offered you the best they had. But now you realize you need more. That just means you need a new trainer. You need someone to train you with new thoughts, new ideas, new behavior patterns, new ways to do things. You need to unlearn the conditioning of your mind that lessens who you are so that you can begin to move and stand into your greatness. See, one thing I love about the Lord is he comes into our world. He comes into our being and he tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, that marvelous is his works. The marvelous is you. He reminds us that we can renew our mind, that in him we are a new creature. So I don't want you to be a new creature continuing to act out your old training. So how do you begin to train differently? You begin to fill your mind with new thoughts. You begin to meditate on what God says about you. So I would encourage you to listen to audios as you're listening to this one. Get you some books that teach differently than what you grew up learning about a topic. Surround yourself with people who are living out the type of lifestyle that you want to see. See, if you've never seen a healthy, happy marriage, you won't be able to produce one unless you're intentional about rewriting what you see. You can't just hope for it. You can't wish for it. You can't want it to be a certain way. You have to work for it. You have to train. And just as you know, like our physical bodies, when we are training to get stronger, to get those abs, to get those muscles, it's hard. It's difficult. There are times when it even hurts. But you know, if you stick in there, you hang in there, you don't give up, you will see the change in your body. You can do the same thing in all the areas of your life, in your mental, in your physical, in your finances, in your health. You just have to be trained. So I encourage you to get the help you need. I am Kanisha Berry. I'm a mindset life coach. I help people train their minds to the new patterns that they want to live. If you don't use me, use someone, but just get the help you need. Get retrained. I want to say thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Go over to my website and you can get the first 7 days of my video teaching on miracle mindset for free. Just go over to the website. You'll see a banner that tells you sign up here, and then you will receive the link to get the product, the whole coaching, it's a 21-day coaching program. You get the first 7 days free. When you get on the website and in the email, it will tell you to enter the code free gift. And you can have access to 7 days of miracle mindset. I want you to begin to start training your mind to the life you need and to the life you want, instead of being burdened and stuck in the place you are right now today. Thank you for listening. Do me a favor, download and subscribe, and tell a friend about Very Thoughtful Life Coaching Podcast.